Make sure I'm in the right spot and that I'm live. Get my comments pulled up. Mute myself. Okay. I am live and I am in the right spot. Alright friends, if you're jumping on, say hi. Let me know you're there. I'm going to give it just a few minutes just to, so some people can hop on. Trying to refill my drawer here for a second. Okay. Alright, so tonight I'm painting a Clover. This won't take long. This one's pretty quick. I just cut it today. I'm gonna add it on the site after I get, actually I'll probably add it on the site tomorrow after I get some pictures in the daylight, but it's pretty simple. This little piece here pretty much does all the lining up for you. So the back piece, the very back, will not need any painting. Let me move you down just a bit. So the very back will not need any painting. So we're just going to paint the pieces and drop them in after we glue this on. And I did paint this one today. I know it's backwards to you all, but it's on the site. I'm going to do this one, and then I have a tier tray set, and then I've got to move on to spring because I have a release in a week and a half. Okay, let me see what we got here. Okay, so I'm going to do white, light green, dark green, and I don't know if I'm going to do raw wood or stain, but I do like the way those colors look together. If you guys are hopping on, say hi so I know who I'm talking to. Okay, so light green, basically light green every other one. So these are all light green, these are all going to be dark green. And then light green, dark green. Okay, so this very back piece, we don't have to do anything to it. We're just going to glue down. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Throw my stuff out of the way. Okay, now when I'm painting, if y'all have any questions or my DIYers have any questions from when you paint yours, now's the time. Let me know. Okay, so I'm using these greens in the bottle. This is from Home Depot. And I think, I don't know the exact colors. I can look them up if somebody really wants them. So if you really want these green colors, let me know and I can find them out. But both of them are from Home Depot. Okay, light green first. I'm going to take my sponge here and I'm just going to dab in my paint. When I dab in my paint, I dab off because I don't want it to run down the sides. And this is all I do. Just dab, dab, dab. Sometimes I'll take one coat, sometimes I'll take 2 coats, but pretty quick. Sometimes even like with the stain, I can take the sponge and just glide it and it will glide right on. But that's all I do. Hi Sandy, how are you? I don't know if y'all can hear in the background, but my husband's cutting wood, so you might hear the saw running. What are y'all doing tonight? What's everybody up to? I know one thing, I've been enjoying some sunshine. I know some of you live where sun always is, but here, sun is not always here, and it has been very nice this week. It like changes your whole mood. Whole mood. Actually, I'm changing my mind, guys. So for the light green, I forgot I made this earlier when I painted this one. So for the light green, I just took, hold on a minute, let me try to remember. Okay, so I took this green, the lighter one, and I added sage mint. And I just made it a tad bit lighter because I wanted more contrast between the dark green and the light green. And I saved this just for this video and I almost forgot to use it. So I'm just going to use the same sponge. I'm just going to dip it in here. And then just dip it on my foil over here. And then I'm going to let this piece dry and I'll just go back over it. There we go. Hi, Shauna. So I use all kinds of different paint, but this particular paint is just like the little samples from Home Depot. Hold on a minute. I'll show you. One of these. And I just get it matte. Like sometimes I'll take, like if I use it a lot, I'll just take a bottle of this up there and they'll color match it. They'll color match it to whatever color you want. Or sometimes I just take straight paint samples from the stuff they have there and get colors. Like my red is, the red that I use on everything is Firecracker red, and it's just from Home Depot's paint samples. I just like it because it's a really pretty red. So really I just play around with colors. But I do use a lot of Apple Barrel from Walmart or Deco Art from Hobby Lobby. But these specific 2 green colors are from Hobby Lobby, and if you really want the colors, I can give them to you. You just send me a message. And then I took the lighter green and I mixed it with, what was it again? Sage green. Mixed it with sage green just to lighten it a little bit. And that's it. Hi, Vicky. Every time I paint anything kind of neutral, Sandy, I always thank you, always. If I paint anything with muted colors, I'm like, oh, Sandy would like this. I'm excited to see what's in your group, Sandy, because I'm about to collect me some stuff when you do your clean out. Alright, so I'm just taking my sponge and just dabbing it on. I try to I'm pretty used to doing it because I do it all day, every day, but you just want to try and move your sponge around to where it just kind of evenly coats it. I always put my sponge in paint and then I dab off on the foil because you don't want too much paint on here or it's going to be drooping all down the sides. And with this particular door hanger, it's not really going to matter because it's going to all get dropped into that frame to where you're not going to see the sides. But typically sometimes less is more, even if you have to put another coat. Just makes for more even painting. I'm excited. Hi, Vicky. I don't know if I said hi to you or not. Alright. So, I don't know, for some of you that are just jumping on, I have this door hanger that I'm doing now, this one I just added, and then I'll have a tier tray set that will be added under St. Patty's, and then I'm moving on to spring. Someone told me, I don't know, a couple months ago, that I did not have enough spring options. So, someone tells me I don't have enough options. So I plan on trying to go gung-ho with the spring options because, I mean, I've never had anyone ever tell me there was not enough options. That was a first. Okay, so this first one that I painted before I realized I had the wrong paint color, I'm going to go back over it now that it's dry and lighten it. Yeah, I'm going to try to really hit spring hard. The trouble I have is just, I paint orders all day, and so I have to do, release stuff either on the evenings or on the weekends, and I don't know if you all are like this, but sometimes when you've worked all week, it's hard to make yourself work at night and on the weekends. And our kids have sports, they have volleyball and stuff, so it's just, I always have these intentions of doing so much more, but I always run out of time. Do I ever paint the edges? I don't. That's why I always say less is more, because the less paint you do and you just do a real thin, even coat, it just stays right on top to where it doesn't matter. I will do this though, I have a baby wipes in my drawer here, and if it gets too messy, I'll just take a baby wipe and I just run it along the edge and wipe the paint off. Like sometimes if like my finger touches it or I just get too much paint, and you just take baby wipe and it wipes right off. I do that sometimes, but I do not paint the edges just because, I don't know, I spend a lot of time painting anyways, that if I painted all the edges of everything, I would be here, I would never go to sleep. Okay, last one. Trying to make sure they're all a light green. And then we're gonna move to dark green. I think this one will go pretty quick though with only having to do the little pieces that dip in and not the background. Vicky, what kind of sponge do you use? So I've used a couple different kinds over the years, and as long as they feel like dense, like you don't want the sponge to be fluffy, you want it to be more dense. And I find the best dense ones are either from, I used to order from Amazon, but they changed them, so I quit doing that. But that was back during COVID, so I don't know if they end up changing them back. So I used to order off Amazon, but I don't anymore. But I find the best sponges are from either Target or Ulta. Those are my favorite sponges, and they're just like, I don't know, they're just dense to where so we like use them all day long, and we just cut, like when we're done with this, I'll cut the end off, and then I'll just keep using the sponge until like, it's like that big. So, I mean, a pack of sponges can last you a pretty good long while, especially if you don't paint every day, all day, like I do. All right, I think that is it on those. Okay, now we're gonna do dark green. Hi, Kathleen. Yes, it is a makeup sponge. Sorry, I should have said that. Hi, Margaret. Okay, it is a makeup sponge. And Target and Ulta are my favorite ones. Like I said, I used to order off Amazon, but they kind of changed them way back, like 5 years ago. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I used to buy them from the Dollar Tree, which was awesome because, I mean, that was a lot of sponges for $1, but they changed them. I don't even know if they still carry makeup sponges or not, but they changed them, and I've just never tried again. Okay, so with this green, I'm gonna show you something else I do. I just used this today on this door hanger here, so I figured I would. So if I have bigger spaces, I'm trying to think. I mean, usually if I have bigger spaces than this, so like if I had that dark green background piece that's real big, I take these little sponges. Now this is just if you paint a lot probably, because if you don't paint a lot, it's probably not going to be useful to you, but Home Depot has these little rollers, and we use those if we have a color that we use like a lot, and we'll just stick them in a Ziploc bag when we're done. But you kind of have to use them a lot because they do dry up if you're not using them regularly. And I just put some paint on my foil, roll it over, and then it just helps to cover a lot of space evenly quicker. I probably would have just used a sponge regularly, but I knew I used this color today, so for the sake of showing and teaching you guys. But like, see how quick that was? That was real quick. So yeah, there's a little trick. And then we just put them in Ziploc bags, and we got a whole drawer back here because we use all different kinds all day. And just keep, obviously you don't want too much. Again, less is more. So usually I'll do one roll, and it'll get you pretty far. You just kind of keep swiping it and evening it out. I hope this is helpful for you DIYers. I was talking to my daughter the other day. I was like, you know what? I should go live more because not everybody buys painted things by us. There's a lot of people that buy blanks from us, and I think it would be helpful for everybody to learn a few tips and tricks and little things that are helpful. And in my subscription box group, we have a monthly DIY subscription box group, so like those people are all crafty, so it's easier to teach those kind of people, but I just sometimes assume that everybody on my regular page likes to buy painted, but there's a bunch of you DIYers. I love to paint. Did you say you put, yep, just regular old Reynolds wrap. Or Reynolds, what is it? I don't even know what it is. Yeah, Reynolds wrap. Kroger brand, sometimes. I just buy whatever's on sale, but the reason I do it on foil, is because, for one, we go through a lot of paint colors a day. So it's nice to just use all that you can use on the foil, just crumble it up and pitch it, and just get yourself a new piece all day long until you've used all your space. And it's not very expensive. So like a roll of foil, you guys know how long a roll of foil lasts. So it's just cost effective. I like the foil too because sometimes paper plates will soak the paint into the paper plate, so the foil doesn't. So that's why I like to use that. And okay, so there's that. I think, so there's 4 little clovers that go in each end. And there was 4 little tops that go in it too. And I went ahead and, so the thing about white is when you buy white paint, it's never really good quality. Or it's like translucent. It takes like a lot of coats. So the white paint that we use, we put it in a bottle, but it's just gallon house paint like you would use on your walls. We just use gallon of it because we go through so much of it, and we just dump it in this bottle for easier use. But these, if I can, if it's something that doesn't have any other color, this is just white spray paint. Like, spray paint has the best white coverage, like, so I went ahead and sprayed all the white so that they could dry so I could put them in for this video, but these are spray painted. I find when I buy the Apple Barrel or the Deco Art or any little bottle of white paint, it's just not that good. So that's why we either use spray paint or house paint. And even, even the house paint takes 2 to 3 coats. Like when we roll our door hanger backs, we have to roll those white, and it will take 2 to 3 coats.
Hi.
Hi.
All
and we'll just blow dry it in between each like layer. That's what we do to make it quicker.
I did my chores.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do these clovers all the same color or a different color. I'm just trying to get a visual real quick. Alright. So, there's 1 in each corner. I think I'm going to do 2 light and 2 dark green. What do you guys think? Or, should I make them all the same color or 2 and 2? 2 dark, 2 light. Hi, Lex. Thanks, Lex. You came in at the clutch. I knew I could count on you. All right, 2 dark, 2 light. Okay, I'm gonna take this green one. I'm just gonna roll this 2 dark, 2 light. For those of you that don't know, Lex, here in the comments, Alexis Swain, she's the one that paints with me all day long. She's a professional. Alright, 2 dark. I'm gonna get my little white, or my green mixed up paint here. Dip it in. I'm gonna take some of it off, and then I'm dabbing off on my foil over here. You could get, if you have brown paper like this too, you can dab off on this or whatever you have around you too, but I just have foil here next to me. So sometimes, oh my, okay, hold on. I got some sort of black something that's coming off on my paint. I'm gonna cut this, try again. I don't know what that was, why it's even black marks, but let's try again. Alright, that's better. Okay. So when we get these pieces painted, I'm gonna need some opinions on the frame piece, because the frame that holds all this together, I'm torn between just leaving it raw wood, which I'm on this big raw wood kick lately. I don't know, I like the clean, it makes it look clean and fresh. I don't know, I like it. But I also like the look of stain, like the contrast. So I was gonna leave this raw wood in the back, this one over here today, and then with the white down here, it just needed the stain so that the white would pop. So I'm kind of wondering if that's what this is gonna need too. But we'll see. We're gonna lay it all out first before we glue it down and see what you all think. Hi, Stephanie from Utah. What's the weather like in Utah right now? We've been having sunshine this week. I said that when I first jumped on, and the sun has made such a difference in my life. You don't know how much you need it till it's gone. And it's only been like a high of 50 here, which is a little chilly still for me, but I'll take it. 50 with sunshine, I will take it. Just makes you in a better mood. I've been like super duper productive this week so far, and it's only, I don't even know what day it is. It's Tuesday. Alright, there's a little spot missing right here. I'm going to touch up real quick. Sometimes when the paint dries, then you start seeing these spots that you... Okay, I'm going to move these pieces out of the way so we can see what they look like with the raw wood and see if we need to stain them or not. Move my stuff around here. Rainy! Oh no, we're supposed to have rain this weekend, but it's usually rain around here too. But we've been lucky this week. Okay. Okay, so again, on this background, we don't have to do anything to this, which is awesome. Because sometimes this is what takes forever, is this background. And like I said, when we do white, we just use like, I'll show you. Medium roller, stick in this bag, and we just pull it out and use it as we need it. Makes it real quick if you're doing a big background. But if you don't use it all the time, it will dry up quick. Well, we use it so much that ours is fine, but... Okay, so here's this. So, right now it's raw wood, so I just want to see what it looks like. Raw wood versus... if we need to stain it. So it looks like every other piece. And see how easy it's going to be to put this together once we figure out what we're doing? It's going to just be like easy peasy. Okay. Oh, wrong way. Oh, wrong way. Okay, white in the corners. And then we're going to take a vote. I'm not going to be able to hold it up, but what are you guys thinking? Either raw wood, or should I stain it like that back there? Which isn't a whole lot darker, but gives it more contrast than what this is. But again, I like the raw wood. What do y'all say? Raw or stain? Okay. Last one. Okay. Hard to show you because it's not glued down. Raw wood frame or stained frame? Stain, that's what I'm thinking too. Oh, that's hard. Oh, Lex is going with the stain. Oh, we got one raw wood. So far, 3 stain. I'm thinking stain too. I like the raw wood too. But I think once we stain it, it's going to be like much more contrast. And I think that's what it needs. I do like the raw wood though too. Raw, stained. Ooh. Okay, for the sake of this video, I'm going to stain it just so you all can see how this works. Okay, so I say stain, but this isn't really stained. So obviously if we stained all day, all the fumes in here in the process of letting it dry would not work out. So this comes in a quart. It's like that tall. It comes in a quart at Home Depot. It's called like decorative glaze. It's just a glaze. And it's real thin and watery, but it doesn't smell and it dries really fast. So that's what we use. We just put it in a bottle because obviously getting it out of a quart would not be efficient all day. But that's what we use. And it leaves a really, I love the color. It's a really pretty stain. Okay, I'm going to put some in here and we're just going to use a sponge on it. But this stuff, like, see how liquidy it is? Sorry guys, I was all off the thing. So it's real liquidy, so it moves real easy. So I can take a sponge and just literally, I'll dab off of the normally because I don't want it run down the sides, but you can literally just take a sponge and just it glides right on, and there's no stinky smell, and it has a really pretty color and it dries fast. So it's awesome if you're trying to do projects indoor without having to stain. I mean, we still stain stuff like our tiered trays and like our framed signs and whatnot. We still use stain, but for like door hangers and stuff, this is the way to go. I love this stuff. And you can use like, so if I have a background that's all stained, I just take a paper towel and just wipe it on. So obviously this sponge would not be ideal for a whole entire background, but if you have like little tiered tray pieces and stuff like that, then I use a sponge. Alright. But it's pretty daggone quick. The only thing you do have to be careful with this stuff is like, if you're trying to do something and this stain isn't dry all the way, and you try to glue on top of the stain, like say you have a tiered tray piece and the background stain and you have words that go on top of it. If you try to glue the stuff on this stain and it's not dry, sometimes the glue will like spread into the wetness of the stain and it will leave like glue marks. So really that's the only problem, or the only thing you have to really watch with this stuff. Okay. I don't know, guys. I think the raw wood. This is the kind of stuff I go through on release day, all the prior weeks, and then I have to have my husband like recut all kinds of different stuff because I changed my mind and I don't like the way it looks, and he's used to it now, but man, I changed my mind a lot. It's got to be that right. It's got to look just how you want it to, though. I think I might go back to raw, though. I'm going to see what this looks like, and I'll have him cut me another one. Okay. See how quick that was? That's pretty daggone quick. And really, you could take a wet or paper towel to this, too, but I feel like I'm quicker with the sponge just because I use sponges all the time. But like usually when you rub it all over like this sponge, that's like it's done for. See how it like folds over? So then I just cut it and use it for another time. But voila. Let me get this stuff out of the way and we'll drop the pieces down and see what it looks like. It does leave your hands like yucky feeling, but nothing a little wet wipe can't handle. Okay. Let's bring this back over here and see what this looks like. Okay. I don't know. I like this too. Okay. I'm going to glue this all down just for this video, but I mean, it looks really good with raw wood too. It's hard to choose on this one. Try to get these pieces. So with this, you're definitely going to obviously glue this frame down first because you need to know where your pieces go. There is 2 holes up here to hang, so they're going to line up. It's going to make it really super easy to line up. Okay, for glue, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face every video I've ever said. This is what I use for glue. I know it's backwards for you guys, but it's called Stick Fast, and this stuff here is life. We've sent out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products. And I've had one person in 5 years say that something came off. So, I mean, that pretty well speaks for itself. But I will say, this stuff is no joke. Once you put it down, there's no getting it up. So you better get it where you want it. You have about 3 seconds to get it where you want it. After that, there's been lots of times that we've had to redo stuff because once it's down, it's down. Stick Fast. They make, you can order off Amazon, and they make it in thick and thin. I use both. I usually just, I don't know, I'll get whatever. They're usually about the same price, and it never goes on sale ever, unfortunately. But sometimes they'll have thick, and sometimes they'll have thin, or they won't have the other. So I usually just get whatever's available. But thick and thin works better. If I had to choose one, I would pick probably thin or medium. Sorry, not thin. Sorry. But I would probably use medium over thick. But it will, like, when you glue the back of something, like, there's, like, fumes that make your eyes water. So you gotta be careful with that. This stuff's no joke. You just hold it down a couple seconds, and this stuff is not coming off. Every once in a while, we'll have, like, a stubborn piece of wood, because this time of year, the wood likes to warp because of the moisture in the air and the coldness. Every once in a while, we'll have a piece that doesn't want to lay down, but we'll just take, like, a little clamp it on there for a second, and let that glue adhere, and she's good as new. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to start gluing. Now with this, so normally Lexi that works with us, she likes to glue on the piece. I personally like to glue on this piece. So it's whatever, preference doesn't matter. Just whatever's easier for you. I just like to glue on the piece that I'm holding and not the board, but you could do it either way. Just holding that down for a minute. And it doesn't take much, like, I just squiggle on all the pieces. That's plenty enough. You do have to be careful though sometimes, because if you put too much glue, then you got to push it down and it will come out the sides, and you don't want that. Because it does leave, like, when it dries, it leaves like a, I don't know, it's like a real light white, cloudy white mark. And so obviously you don't want that on your piece, but this one was pretty fast, not bad. Some of the ones we do are so complicated and they take so long that I'm like, there is no way I could do that live. Y'all would be asleep by the time I got done with it. Okay. Drop that in there. What I love about this one is that you don't have to spend so much time thinking and trying to get the pieces right. Like, you pretty much can't mess this up. Drop it in there. Hold it down for a few minutes. Do you think... I think this has got a lot going on, so I probably won't put a bow. I don't know. What do you guys say? Bow or no bow? I love me a good bow, but some door hangers just don't need it. There's a lot of pattern going on here, but... this one, you could just glue the background like that, the whole square, and just boop. Probably been quicker to do it that way the whole time. Okay. This stuff doesn't take long. Like, within probably, I'd say 3 minutes, it will be completely dry. The glue will. which is nice. But it also can, I've glued my fingers together a lot of times. Amanda, I was going to message you today. I did your sign today. He cut the frame tonight and it's being stained, so the stain has to dry overnight, and so it'll get put together tomorrow. But you are gonna be so thrilled. It turned out so. I was like, should I message her? And I'm gonna see if she wants to see it or she wants it to be a surprise and just show up in the mail. So you let me know, Amanda. Do you want to see it tomorrow, like finished? Me send you a picture, or you want it to be a surprise? Do you want a picture, Amanda? Because I will send you one tomorrow, because I think it turned out so good. I tried something new. We got a new machine, and I tried something new. So I trace it on my iPad, and then from my iPad, I send it to the computer. And then my computer, I normally send it to my cutters, and it will engrave. Well, this time I sent it to, I have a UV printer now, and so I UV printed it, and it's chef's kiss. You're going to be super duper duper happy with it, I think. Even all the little, you want to see it? Okay, awesome. When he puts it together tomorrow after the frame is dry, I'll send you a picture, because I think you'll be really happy with it. All right, just making sure there's like a little spot on there. All right, so I'm gonna tie a little string up here real quick so we can hang it. Hold on, there's a spot right there that I wiped off with my hand. Okay, let me find my string. Okay, let me see. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, bow. I know, I'm torn about the bow too. I may have to play around with it, but I still want you all to see what it looks like finished, holding it up. So this is just like, it's like a thicker jute that we use. And I just double knot it twice. And then I bring it over here. And cut it to where it looks like it would be a good size. I go through the back of the door hanger, double knot it once, knot it once, knot it twice, and that's usually enough. Sometimes certain door hangers will take 3 knots, but for the most part. Okay, y'all, what do you think of it? I still think I like the raw wood. I do like the stain too, but I think I like the raw wood, but there you have it. You think it bow? No bow? I kind of think it's pretty how it is, like on its own. It's pretty. What do y'all think? That wasn't so bad, was it? Okay, show me how you make it. Oh, I can do that. How about we do that? Even if it's not for this, I can show you how to make a bow. Let me get some ribbon real quick. Let me see if I have tons of ribbon in my drawer, actually. Now this bow is not going to go together, but for the sake of just showing you how to make a bow, let me move the comments so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so take your ribbon, from the scissors. You take your ribbon, fold it in half. When you fold it in half, just cut the end at an angle. Same thing on the other side. They call this dovetailing, to where your piece looks like that. I usually just do 2 crisscrossed in the back, and then I do another row, different design on top of that. And when I crisscross the second row, I always kind of go just not exactly on top of it, but just to where you can see all the patterns. And then I do 1 in the middle, but the 1 in the middle, I always make just a tad bit smaller. So I'm going to cut this one down. Now obviously this bow and these ribbons don't go together, but the 1 in the middle, I set it on top, then I lay it like that. And then I take a piece of jute. Can you see this okay, Shauna? I'm trying my best. Okay. I know, I think so too, Deanne. That's what I'm thinking too. Alright, so then I take a piece of jute, about yay big. Okay, and then I take it and I squeeze it all together in the middle. And then I flip it over, because that was the front. I lay my string down, and then I take it, lay it on top of there, and I'll tie it once. Now this is the back, so I try to kind of straighten make sure that ribbon's even on each side, and then I can pick it up at this point. And now it's only been wrapped around once, so this is where I straighten it up, get everything where I want to get it, make sure everything's how I like it, and then I'll take the string and wrap it around again and knot it. And then, so it's wrapped around twice, both knotted. And then I'll trim any pieces that are too long or kind of wonky or just not how I like it. And then obviously, there you go. So see how these two strings are hanging from the back? That's what I use to tie it to the thing. So if I was to put this on here, I would take the two strings. My holes are up here. I put this string on first, and then you can pull it up. See how you can pull it up through the hole? I'll pull it up a little, and then I take my two strings, fold them over, because it's easier to stick through the hole, and then I'll stick it through the hole, pull the bow tight, pull the jute tight, that's the hanger, and then I just double knot it on the back. And then I'll cut the excess string off from the back, and then we staple ours just for extra support. But that's it. Super easy. It's not a hard bow at all. It's like the easiest bow you can do. But there you have it. That's how you do the bows. Alright, y'all. You're welcome, Shauna. Alright, guys. Any other questions, comments? If y'all think of something later or whatnot, you can always send me a message. But that's it. I'll have that on the site by tomorrow. Alright, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for joining me.